Still performing track testing, and what we have here is a marginal issue. Not marginal at that point. The reason for the derailment is that what we have is some quite nice coaches, but they are closely coupled, and when coming downhill on a curve, the top parts of the corridor connectors between the coaches are touching. They're the things that are keeping it apart, not the buffers or the tension lock couplings, and so we're getting a kind of buffer lock on the corridor connectors, and that then on occasion, not every time, is causing derailment. So lovely coaches, and here they are stopped, and you can see brilliantly closely coupled. There's another Hornby coach, and you can see quite a considerable gap between that and the other type of coach. But here, the gap opens up, but when on a straight and level piece of track with the following coach pressing up against the one in front, then there's barely a millimetre of gap between the corridor connectors, and that's a cause of a problem. They will negotiate, I believe, second radius curves okay, they'll certainly negotiate the curves on the level okay, but when going downhill, down the slope, we hit a problem, especially when they're going down the slope on a curve, and we're getting some derailment. It is possible to drive it slowly down the curve and gently, and it will rest against its corridor connector and not derail it. So a little issue there, some thought required as to what can be done to resolve that. Right, it's time to eat my hat. These Hornby coaches are beautifully close coupled so that the corridor connections are almost touching in normal running. And in a previous video I talked about transition curves, but also transition slopes, basically not having an angle at a junction between a slope and the flat bit. And I'd also said I didn't like to have points on slopes. Well, points are going to be on slopes at an angle. In terms of a problem I had of not buffer lock but corridor extension lock derailing the coaches, I've got two options: not to run the coaches or to do something. And the issue was that I have a transition curve, which means the actual curve is sharpest at the quarter points. Let's say it starts easy, gets sharper, gets easy. Would have got sharper, but I'm able to relax the curve there so that it doesn't get sharper around there. And in fact, at the same time, since the last little video, I've removed the point work that was in that corner. Don't really intend to use it, and it removes a potential source of problems. So now it will run up and down the slope because I've eased the slope. So the point now is on a slope, and as you can see, there's a gap between the track and its previous support. A bit of wheel slip, but everything went up the slope in reverse without any derailment, and similarly everything comes down the slope without any derailment.